All right, how we doing out there, y'all? We are going to tackle some misleading graphs 1.3, and let's just jump right in here. We'll make this short and sweet. When they ask you to describe graphs, just make sure you look for obvious things, right off the bat. I mean, titles would be definitely helpful. Check your axes. Um, just make sure things are consistent and make sure things are just clear. Okay. Um, in this case, you got favorite colors. You got your colors going down the left, and the bottom axis would be nice to have some numbers there to gauge that. And then, of course, you got to the right hand side Canada in the blue, US in the red, which is totally backwards, but all right, I'll move on. So when they say talk about each category separately, what do you notice, and which is the larger section, and which is the smallest section? Uh, looking at the graph, I would be thinking right off the bat with the color red, they look about even. With the color pink, they look about even. And then for some strange reason, Canadians like green a little bit more, like blue a little bit less, and who cares about purple and orange? And then for that matter, just to have a little fun, with college football, notice how purple and orange are the least favorite colors in Canada and the US. So go figure. So purple, that knocks out, what is that, LSU? Orange knocks out, holy cow. Tennessee, Auburn, Clemson, definitely Florida. Nobody likes orange. So anyway, just make sure when you see graphs, you notice things like that title, axes. Just make sure it's clear. Okay. Moving on. Definitely graphs can be misleading. The area principle is a big one. And technically, that means that the area of a graph should equal the magnitude of the data. So just make sure it represents. A lot of times they're going to use different size icons, which can throw you off a little bit. 3D graphs can throw you off a little bit. It just makes it confusing. Um, we like percentages for sure. And on our axes, we definitely like to start at 0. All us math folks. So here we go, a couple examples. How is this graph misleading? Well, let's see, let's take a look. Looks like we're going to be looking for fruit. Looks like we're looking at just the months January, February, March, April. Not sure why those 4 months. Not sure where this information is even coming from. There's really no title at all. And then on the left side, of course, we got numbers. We like numbers, but I'm not really sure what these numbers represent. So this is definitely confusing. And then to top it all off, it is 3D, which makes it hard to pick out some details for sure, like oranges back in January and February. Like, how are you supposed to do that? So definitely misleading. So what's the point? Graphs should be clear, and they should just pop out information right at you. Here we go. Next example. Here is what the different size icons. Here's why they don't like them. They just sort of throw you off a little bit. Um, Graphs definitely named. I can tell what the numbers on the left represent. And then, of course, you got two people right here. We're comparing two people. But just for us, we're going to try to stay away from the icons because they can just make you look at it twice. And if you got to look at it twice, then it's probably not a good graph anyway. And here's some good ones on why you should probably start your axes at 0. Like this, Fox News. And I'm not going to jump into the politics here, but you got to wonder when you see graphs coming from your different political parties, what they're trying to, of course, get across. So on this one, he's looking at unemployment rate under President Obama, and it looks like it's a little wild and crazy right here. But if you take a second and look at this, the numbers really don't look that far off. And then that sort of goes into the axes. They're not starting at 0. And if you did start this graph at 0, would this be a little less significance? Okay, this fluctuation in numbers. And then the other thing I would just notice is this is for 2011, and we're looking at just these months, which in the grand scheme of things, if you're just looking at those months of that 1 year, it's really not a lot of information to look at. So, wow, not a lot to see here. Then over here, we got the 4th versus the 5th versus the 6th graders. And if you look at the way they set it up, it looks like the 5th graders are on top of the world. They are selling whatever they're selling. Oh, okay, they're raising money. So, all right, these are your leaders right here. But again, check out the scale. If you don't start at zero, well, let me say that again. If you did start at zero, would these numbers really be that far apart? And I would say no. So that's definitely somebody trying to make you think fifth graders are the bomb. Okay, so another good reason to start at zero. And that's it, y'all. So good luck with your work.